All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Um, I, I am recording this and streaming it to Twitch. So if at any point that you do need to back away, there will be a video recording of this. It will be the exact same onboarding session that we will have on Thursday as well. So if you miss anything or if you have questions that come up between today and Thursday, I'll have another session. It'll be the exact same thing, but if you have further questions, you have the ability to come and ask. Here's just a little agenda of everything that we are going to essentially cover. And I will try to get this done in under an hour to be respectful of everybody's time. Um, Here's just kind of a basic agenda. I will give all of you access, or you should have access to this. It is on the Google Calendar invite as well, including all of the links that are available. The big thing for this semester is going to be the addition of Fortnite and the way that Fortnite is going to operate just a little bit different than any other title. And I know there's been a lot of questions around it, so hopefully this helps clarify some of those questions. I will be completely honest with you, it is brand new to me as well, since I just got the spectator account a couple weeks ago. I'm still learning to utilize it a little bit, which is why we will have a test day next week as well. So if anybody has teams that are willing to be my guinea pigs, so to speak, I would love to have some guinea pigs just come in and play test this. But just to start rolling through the agenda, um, basically the registration has gone out for winter. It does not look much different than the previous one from fall, with the addition of Fortnite. So just to kind of go through this just a little bit with you, the top half shouldn't look any different. You are able to co-op if you may need to. We have the ability that you can register a co-op school. You just may need to work that out with your athletic director and your administration as to how you would like to handle the students playing on school grounds. We have had students play from remote locations as long as they are either in like a Google Meet, so that way then the coach or advisor can be present to oversee some of those. If you need special accommodations, please reach out to me so that way we can discuss it. So that way I can be made aware of it as well in case something arises. I like to be at least on the know. Um, as far as dues goes, if you're able to do it, just check this box. I will send out a PayPal invoice to the email address of the main registrant. And then I can send you a W-9 if necessary. Some schools prefer to add us as vendors. I can send you that upon request. Otherwise, checks can be mailed, and I'll provide the address for that as well. Registration with Fortnite is because of the battle royale nature of the game. We're going to try to get 25 squads per time period. So you can have a squad that wants to play at Wednesday at 3:30. That will be their designated pool that they play in for the next 8 weeks. A team cannot jump from pool to pool to pool in order to potentially get an advantage, or if that's the time that all of a sudden now works better for them. I need you to register which pool that they are going to play in for the next 8 weeks. And the reason why I need to do that is because I need to create then the match forms. So that way you would submit it and your team would be in each pool. So that way when we run our script, the standings for the pool are going to be accurate. So you can put a squad in each pool if that's what you wish, or you can put them all in the same pool. So for example, if you have 3 squads and they can all play at Wednesday at 3:30, then you would just put yes, and then the number of squads would be 3 here. And then I will make sure that it is registered and it's viewed on the website as Elkhorn A, Elkhorn B, Elkhorn C, or if you're a school that wants to do like Elkhorn black, Elkhorn white, Elkhorn purple, Elkhorn gold, whatever your color scheme may be. I can do that as well. I just need you to communicate that with me so I can put it on the form correctly, as well as then the standings. Um, Rocket League shouldn't be much different. Again, with this, you can have one varsity team and as many JV teams as you can support for 8 weeks. I understand that students will drop, and if you've been a part of this, you know that we sometimes get a lot of excitement right away, and then commitment to the team may disappear after a week or two. I usually try to say don't go more than like 3 teams. Like, let's say you got 15 students interested, cap yourself at a varsity and 2 JVs, and then rotate players in, because we will have commitment issues from certain students, or maybe they get involved in something else, or when spring sports practices come around that they may not be able to participate. We do run into that issue quite often. I really don't like when we have drops. I understand drops happen, but when teams drop out, it does then require us to remake the schedule, or it potentially puts buys into the schedule, and it makes it hard for teams that are trying to plan ahead, teams that put together graphics and stream info and doing research on the competition and stuff. It can create some additional headaches, and then it's hard for me to constantly email out saying like, oh, this team dropped, the schedule's been remade, and tell all the schools as far as how that goes. So the first couple of weeks, do keep an eye on the schedule on the website, because it is subject to change. If you have a middle school team for Rocket League, please just make sure that you check this box that yes, if we do have enough middle school teams, we will create a middle school only division. We've had that with Smash Brothers as well. So if you do have enough interest, or if there is enough interest, we can go ahead and create a JV team too. Which will likely bring up a question that I forgot to answer as far as Fortnite. We do not have a differentiation between varsity and JV with Fortnite because of the battle royale nature of the game. They will all drop in the same lobbies in the pool, and we don't have the ability to say that like this is a JV only pool. It's just kind of everybody's going in at a certain time. So it's not a perfect system for our first time. And if there is enough interest in middle schools, there is potentially the following year that I can do something to where it's middle school only. Or if there's one of you that really likes Fortnite and you want to run like a community event for just open-ended on like a Friday afternoon, a fun Friday of Fortnite, whatever it is, we can make that happen too. So that's just a little bit about registration. Rules and regulation. I do implore all of you to read this. I implore all of the students that may be watching and participating with this to please be familiar with this document. It outlines things like eligibility. It outlines substitution, potentially academic standards, code of conduct, consequences for breaking our code of conduct, general overview of the season, how to kind of get ready for games, what to look for in games. Fortnite, there won't be any rescheduling. It's 3:30 this week, 4:15 this day. There will be no reschedules for Fortnite because of the group pool, because otherwise it would require 24 other squads to reschedule. And that's just not going to be feasible. That's not possible to do. Because we do live in the state of Wisconsin, and I know up north is about to get another good dumping of snow, for Rocket League, or in those instances, for Rocket League specifically, reschedules can happen because of inclement weather. If part of the state potentially is closed, the schools shut down for snow, please reach out to me when it comes to Fortnite. if we have to, we may be able to make consideration for those players that have to potentially play remote. Because I would hate to see some of these students miss out on that opportunity. And the beauty of Fortnite is that it is cross-platform. So if they have a Switch, an Xbox, a PlayStation, a PS5, whatever it may be, we might be able to accommodate those players that would potentially be homebound that day because of inclement weather. So we will try to be flexible with that. It is our first time running Fortnite, so there will be some bumps and bruises. The agenda is on the Google Calendar invite. If you need it, let me know, and I can go ahead and here, I can actually just paste it in chat for you real fast. Yeah, rules in violation are in here. For Fortnite, we have asked that you turn off like no dancing, no emotes and sprays in game. The question came up is what happens if we're in the loading lobby? Sure, it's okay. Dance your heart out in the loading lobby. I know they love to do that. But once we get in game, please maintain sportsmanship. And just don't dance and emote on getting eliminations and stuff like that. Rocket League is best of 5, so first to 3. You don't have to play the other 2 games. We do have a mercy rule in place that if you are up 10 goals to 0, just end the game. It is demoralizing for students, and sometimes then bad for programs if we don't have some sort of mercy rule in there as well. Any skin goes. To my knowledge, there are no banned skins for Fortnite, as well as no emoting a server side setting. I can explore it. It's pretty limited with what the spectator account can do. Again, that's why I do have the 20th set as a kind of like a test day, so we can try to figure out some of these things with Fortnite. Which I guess kind of brings me to, I don't know how spectating will work if you're a school that wants to stream Fortnite. I had to get a spectator account from Epic. And so I don't know if you can only spectate your one player or your team. You will not be able to spectate the entire lobby of all teams for competitive integrity type situation. Yes, Jeff, to your question, if you're up by 10, it's a mercy rule. So if it's 10-0, mercy rule. If it's 14-4, it's a mercy rule. So just, and I can, here, we'll add that for clarification. Lynn, yes, you can substitute players. So if game 1 of Rocket League, you win and you want to put a sub in for game 2, that is totally fine. Please just make sure that that student is available on the roster. So that way they can sub in. And if you just need to tell the other team that you're subbing this player in, you can do so. Try to have them logged into their account and ready to go. Otherwise, that can add an additional like 10 minutes while they're trying to log into their Epic Games account to get all their presets and stuff. So if you have a 4th computer available, please have them just log into that so that way you can sub in between. Match setups for Rocket League. And again, I'll talk a little bit about Fortnite here in just a second, but those are the big ones. If you do have any technical issues, you can't reset the lobby with Rocket League. So you can try to reconnect to the game. Otherwise, sorry, I'm trying to read chat and do a couple of things at once. If both coaches agree to restarting the match, then that is between the coaches. We have this set to where you can't restart a lobby like for server crashes or like latency issues. You'll have to just restart your client and potentially play 2-3 down for that game, or 1-3, or whatever the situation may be. Um, Thomas, to your point about limited to one school per team to avoid teaming up in lobbies, I will add um, a rule set in here that if you're found to be teaming, that you can be punished by forfeiting the game and will receive a did not finish and disqualification for that week. It's a great point. And again, it will be something that we have to look at for competitive integrity. I'm not sure how much that will come into play, but I will add a specific rule set in there. Yes, you can remake the Rocket League lobby between games if you need to. Sometimes that helps with latency issues. To the question about submitting points, yes, there will be a submission form just like all the other games, to where you will pick from the drop down the number of points based on place finished and then number of eliminations. So that way we can add it to our script and run our calculations to figure out who will be after X amount of weeks as far as what position. I should be able to export the data. And again, this is something that I need to learn with the spectator client, but I do believe that I can export a CSV file of all the match details as far as places and eliminations per team. But it will be hard for me to verify because it's only by username. So I would have to look up to see who placed on what team and go through all of your roster documents. So it may be difficult from a CSV perspective, but I would need coaches to then submit that type of material. These are good questions. Trying to jump around a little bit here, but running practices, Fortnite, it's going to be difficult just because you need the spectator account if you want to create a custom lobby. You can do that. You can create custom lobbies, but you can't spectate them. So we can run those types of things. We just need to plan ahead, like if there's a specific day and time. Rocket League, it's a lot easier. You can just jump into general games. They have preset practice drills that you can run inside of Rocket League that you can set that type of material up. If you want to, you can use the Discord server in order to schedule scrimmages. I know there's been a few schools that are already organizing scrimmages between teams. So that is a possibility as well. And as far as just filling out the roster document, I sent last year's roster document out to everyone. I just made a copy of it, so all the links are still there. If you're a new school, all you have to do is create a copy of the sample tab here and then fill in your information. If you were a school that competed previously, so like we had some material, so we would just be able to go here and take all of that information and just update it. And that's all that we would have to do. And just make sure that the IGNs work. There is like a website that you can use, and I'll paste it on the instructions too. But there's like a Rocket League tracker to where if you just copy their Epic ID and paste it in there, it should be able to show that it's connected to their account. We can see what their stats are and stuff like that. James, are we doing all conference, all state for the winter? We canceled it for the fall just because of the lack of submissions that were coming from programs, as well as then it was very hard to get a few individuals together in order to go through all of that material. So I think we've agreed that we're just going to push it off this year and revisit it next year, just because it became so hard for us to it was always like two or three of us, and it was very hard when two people were from the same division and we had to recuse ourselves from picking any of our players or the other division's players, leaving one individual to basically pick the all conference and all state materials. So we pushed it off for fall, and I think we're going to push it off for just the entire year and revisit it. I may try to do something like a all state competition or something like that. I know we're trying to organize another border battle between Minnesota and Wisconsin. So the top 5 players from Smash would get to represent us and beat up on Minnesota again. Rocket League, I would like to see us win this time. So if Waukesha South is listening, you gotta redeem yourself against that. And if Edgewood is still playing Overwatch, we'll let Edgewood come back and just dominate Overwatch too. But so I'm all for trying to beat up on Minnesota and their group up there, so we can make that happen too. So we'll try to find some additional things to do for those top players. It just may not be a like a public recognition type situation. You should have all had access to this document, the firewalls and ports. I have added Fortnite, League of Legends, and Valorant to this document too. So you should just be able to go ahead and give this to your IT. Please test it before our scheduled matches. Please test it. Overwatch will need to be updated for Overwatch 2, but for the most part, Rocket League is all the same. And Fortnite should be. Do I need to add Fortnite still? I will add Fortnite tonight. I will put that on my to-do list. But I'll make sure that that's on there too. So that way you can get that kind of set up and squared away. So competition is going to look a little bit different with Fortnite. Rocket League, you're just using the roster document, and you can find the coach's email address, Discord information, their captain information. And what I usually do is I try to send out an email on Monday morning and just say like, hey, Elkhorn versus Sauk Prairie, we can start as early as 3:15. Please let me know when you can start. And just usually start it via email, or if I know somebody is very active on Discord, I'll just send them a quick message on Discord. Fortnite, going to be a little bit different. I have the game mode here. I created a little step-by-step guide. This is on the game day procedures. Your team will all log into Fortnite. You'll have to ensure that you're set for NA East. I put in Discord too on the coach's resource. There's a video. In the video, it says NA West because my friend that made it is in California. So just know that we're on East. Your trio is going to party up. You're going to set it to arena modes, battle royale, trios. And then there will be down here at the bottom, there will be like a custom key. And then I will have further down on the document, you'll see the weekly information for custom keys. For next week, I will just send out, it's probably just going to be a generic password. So that way everybody can get a quick sample of how to join the lobby. And then we can actually play a full one all the way through. That way, too, I get experience on how to use the spectator client and jump around from team to team to team. Postseason, I have on the document there with four pools for Fortnite. The top 12 teams from each pool will advance to the postseason. So as long as out of the 25 trios, you are in the top 12, you will advance to the playoffs. And then we'll have a Wednesday playoff and then a Thursday playoff. So the 24 teams on Wednesday at 4:15, 24 teams at 4:15 on Thursday. The top 12 teams out of those, I want to say 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, or 2. I have to double check my own rule set here. But they then advance to the state championship. We will not be able to do Fortnite in person because it requires 75 machines. And the best way that I have found to do that, in order to get that necessary equipment, the ballpark that I've been quoted is $4,000 per 20 machines. So I would essentially need $20,000 worth of equipment to run one Fortnite LAN. So if anybody has $20,000 that you would like to donate, let me know. I appreciate it. It's a tax write-off. Hey, we're a nonprofit. We can give you those kickbacks. So that one will all be online. Rocket League will be the same as we did for the fall, where the Conference 1 first seed will play the Conference 2 8 seed. And the documents are available on, if you want to see like what a sample one looks like, on the state championship one. This is kind of the format. So Conference 1, Seed 1 will play Conference 2, Seed 8, and it will be staggered. So you'll play a lot of the teams from the other conferences to try to hopefully see the 1s and 2 seeds. The day is, I believe on the schedule, it's going to be March 18th. I've been trying to figure out when to do it. I have 3 rounds starting at 4:15. I'm also still currently looking and trying to figure out a destination for the state championship. I've been looking at some different venues around the state, trying to find one that is a price point. UW River Falls is the one that's interested right now. For those of you that met Dylan at the state championship on Saturday, they got a brand new esports arena. It is up there by the Minnesota border, so it's kind of a ways up there. They'd be able to give us discounted hotel blocks and everything like that for those of us that are traveling 5 hours plus for the day. But they would be able to offer us a whole facility, and as of right now, it's for free. I like free. The other couple options have been looking at like $3,000 for the day to rent spaces and stuff like that. So trying to find a place that is cost effective for all of us. I really try not to push the cost of this to our students or to our schools. So trying to find places that work best for all of us. And last but not least, just streaming 101. If you really want to get into it, I think it's really awesome. Rocket League is probably the easiest one to get into, because it's hockey. It's hockey and soccer combined. You're just using a soccer ball that's being hit by cars that can fly in the air. It's really easy for OBS. You can set up a YouTube channel if you wish. And you can just direct it straight to that. You can do like StreamYards through your browser, so you don't have to have the software installed. We have Andrew, and I forget his actual name, but I know X-Ray is also looking to help us do some JV casting, and Henry is going to help us as well with Rocket League. So they set up the match of the week. They're current students around the state, and they pick a match of the week. If you want to be the featured match of the week, just shoot me an email and I'll talk to Andrew and our casters. We make Liv, our graphic designer, puts together a match of the week flyer, and we spam that out on socials, try to tag your schools, and all those other fun things. We do usually need your school logo. There's a school logos folder that I can make sure that I share with everybody again. But if you're streaming, we try to make sure that there's PNGs that are available in there for your stream overlays and other assets that are there. If you need something made, just let me know. Liv loves to make graphics, so she does a great job. Or if you want to use your own graphic design students in order to put some of that stuff together, it's a great opportunity in order to connect what you do in the classroom with what you're doing with your esports program. Some other ways that you could do this, we have students that do a little bit of journalism where they're writing a post game match as far as how things went down. We have some that submit them to like their local papers, or we have some that are just putting like a blog together for their school, and so that their school can send stuff out on socials and stuff too. I think it's just a really easy way in order to promote our programs. So, yeah, Lee offered to help too. So if you need some assistance, we are here. I can give you a quick rundown as well. Um, the only other thing that I had would be if some of you are looking to get on Discord, and I know some of your schools don't allow it, but for those of you that are on Discord, this would be our verification channel that you land on. You just put in, and the only way to get a link for this is usually contacting me. I make students email me from their school email addresses to verify that they are who they say they are, and then just put in your verification material. Then you can go into the roles channel down here and unlock the game channels that you need to. With it being based on school, and when you do join the channel by school, you can then go in and say like, I could ping Grafton and be like, looking for the coach for our Rocket League match. And it's as easy as that. There's specific Rocket League channels, there's coaches channels, there are all those other ones that are in there. I do try to share, like we have a state championship channel to where students were sharing all the pictures that they took and talking about their experience at state. College recruiters send information, and they can go ahead and send in, like Wisconsin Lutheran College posted their material in here. UW River Falls has posted materials in here. Edgewood College in Madison post their materials. It's a way for me to not have to flood your email addresses with everything. I don't want to send you 20 emails a day. I think most of you would be annoyed with me. So, and then two, if there's like community tournaments. So here Carthage is hosting a Rocket League showcase on January 14th. It's a great way to just get to know programs in your community. So Coach Palmer is awesome. He's putting this together. There's information, there's signups. Guardian Proline, who makes many of our team jerseys, they're having a Rocket League Battle for the Bolt. So there's a tournament there. The Bucks are doing some material as well with the Oshkosh Herd. On March 15th, they have like an esports night featuring the NBA 2K champions, Bucks Gaming. So there's all these different tournaments and stuff. And so in order to not spam your email inboxes all the time, I try to limit it to Discord. If there are more opportunities that you want, please just let me know. I'm happy to share that information. Ryan, are you here?
Yes, I am.
All right. Ryan, do you want to give just a little overview of what Perseverance Performance is?
Yeah. So, hi, everybody. My name is Ryan Tigan. I am a mental performance consultant here in the Milwaukee area. I just want to thank Mike for giving me a little bit of time out of your day to just kind of talk about what I do and some of the stuff that I've done in graduate school. I have a brief little presentation I can give too. But during my time in graduate school, I was a collaborator in an international journal for imagery in esports. And really, all that journal was an encyclopedia for esport coaches to deliver imagery or visualization scripts to their athletes. And now, here, can I share my screen, Mike? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll make this fast. um, okay. So we'll go from here. So I just wanted to go over just some of the fundamentals of imagery with you all. You might have heard of it just years ago in some of Bandura's learning theory and social learning theories. I'm going to touch on that a little bit, but just talk about the transition from esports to academia. Why is it important for esport athletes? Some of the benefits that it can have it for you and your athletes. Just a model to use if you ever decide to write an imagery script and then practice. It's my hope through perseverance to kind of help coaches and athletes in Wisconsin area to not only overcome mental and emotional challenges to sport, but also in life, right? Because both of those kind of overplay with each other. Now, imagery is simply using an athlete's or student athlete's imagination. That's all it is. It's just a deliberate intention to achieve some sort of desired outcome. As students get older, some of that brain space that they used when they were children to have when they're playing imaginary play gets overrun or overused by math and science. So it's not, so their ability to have those imaginative experiences decreases. But it's a skill, just like any skill you teach them in the classroom. And I usually like to think of it as a toolbox. So imagery can be used for skill development, right? Think of a play, right? You're playing something in Rocket League and you want to do a different move, or you guys are doing team play in 2K and you guys want to work on team cohesion. So you can use imagery as a way to build some of that team cohesion. Confidence, you can think of confidence as either skill development and mastering previous experiences, or just noting what it feels like to be confident going into an esport competition. And I have an imagery script if we have the time to kind of help you dig into what that might actually look like with an athlete. Motivation. You can use motivation again to develop some sort of motivational experience for the athlete, whether it is in and out of the classroom or during esports. And then energy management. And I'm going to talk about that one in some of the research that I've recently found in a couple of school journals after that. So, this is some of the fundamentals that I like to use when writing imagery. And you guys can take a screenshot, or I'll share this with Mike and any of the references afterwards. I had permission from Dr. Sandra Moritz, who was one of the first, she was one of the researchers behind this original applied model, but it's been revised over probably the last 10 or so years. But really, I like to focus on the middle aspect right here: what, why, and who, right? What, why, and the outcome in terms of what are you trying to do with this imagery script? What's the purpose of it? Why are you trying to do that, right? If you're thinking about teaching an athlete to relax going into a competition, why is that important? All right. What's the obstacle that you're trying to overcome there? Which is right here. And then what I said before about imagery ability is thinking about their ability to use imagery as a way to help you kind of guide your script. I've worked with college athletes and I will start out lower and slower with some of the stuff that I do with them. So I'll imagine them just staring at a TV screen and creating a ball and just being able to build this picture around whatever ball that is. The more meaning and the more realistic stimuli that you can give to whatever you're trying to do, whatever script you're trying to build, the more their brain is going to start connecting and making the dots and saying, okay, this is a real situation. Obviously, that adds in the where and the when, right? So, thinking about the five senses, I usually like to at least have 3 to 4 in there, maybe all five if I can. And then this last part, the who down here, is in terms of what perspective is your athlete watching this, right? So thinking about first or third person, the research is mixed on which one is better. It depends on the sport, it's totally sport dependent, but high performers are more likely to use both, right? Either watching themselves or being in first person doing the actual event during an imagery script that can kind of flip in between.
Ryan, just a heads up, it's still stuck on the title slide.
Oh, is it? Uh-oh. I'll try and fix that. Sorry, guys. Maybe I have to
While he's
reshare.
working on that too, I did drop his information in the chat if anybody would like to take a deeper dive into some of this content.
Well, I'll just share from here. There's always technical difficulties, right? So here's just what you guys missed. So I'll go back to this. So this was the model that I was talking about originally, the who, what, where, when, and why. So these two are where you really want to start. Like, this is the outcome. Where's the outcome? What do you want to do? What are you trying to achieve? Why is that important for the student athlete? And where is their ability to imagine that image? And there are assessments that you can always do, or if you pull me in, I can always do with different athletes. And then from there, you're just building a picture around the scene. And I'll kind of go through what an imagery script might look like for an athlete that might have some performance anxiety going into it. And then obviously the who is down here. So I originally had tried to dig into some of the original literature on imagery because I know applied psychology really dug into it as a cognitive technique back in the 1960s. But these were just a couple of articles that I found within the last 5 years or so. So this first one was it was a researcher from Italy who was looking at geometric knowledge and ability and imagery ability when it came to young athlete or young students. And I think they were 8 to 9.5 year olds, so second, third, fourth gradish. And what they found was that students that were able to basically work their way through a geometric problem, right? They are able to cognitively imagine that image in their head, had higher geometric knowledge when it came to, or high knowledge when it came to geometry. And then the second one down here, this was done a little farther back, but what they were looking at was a systematic imagery program for test anxiety. And all they did was a 25-minute relaxation script for college athlete or college students. I'm always used to saying athletes, but it's students too. College students for 8 weeks that was only 25 minutes long. And they listened to that before they did some form of cognitive assess or cognitive test. So whether it was just homework, right? So before they were about to do a 90-minute homework session or anything like that. And what they found was that these students have lower stress scores going into a big exam and higher academic scores. Obviously, they studied more, which also might have been a factor in this, but I thoroughly believe that this is a form of mental preparation that student athletes can use for anything, right? And it's not, I don't think it's necessarily talked about as much. My girlfriend is a fourth grade teacher, and I try to not sports like her kids, but just push a little bit of information here and there to her as much as I can. So, so now let's practice. Um, I'm just going to take a couple more minutes of your time to kind of run you guys through an imagery script. And then I want to kind of debrief and see what you all thought. And you can post your comments or your experiences in the chat, or you can hop on the mic afterwards. And I know it's been a busy day, so please don't fall asleep during this script because I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And you can just kind of settle into whatever space you're in and take a couple of slow breaths. Maybe not necessarily deep. We're going to focus on the energy management aspect of this, right? So it's such a mentally stimulating environment that any new athlete can be overwhelmed in whatever sport they're trying to go through. So just take a couple of more deep breaths, slow breaths. And then we're going to start painting the picture. So just imagine yourself first walking into the room, noticing the lights, whether up above or the glow from any computer monitor. Notice who is around in the audience. Maybe it's familiar parents, unfamiliar parents, friends, students. You can notice their clothing, who they're talking to, or whether or not they're on the phone. And you can see athletes already sitting down in front of a monitor, whether they're practicing, just playing, or just talking there. Next, I want you just to focus on any sounds you might be hearing, whether for whether they're from those people talking, an announcer, maybe sounds of a keyboard clicking or a mouse. Just notice what comes to mind. You can notice any smells that might be filling the air as well. Now, I want you to listen to the announcers calling for athletes, finding their computers. See yourself walking over to one of the monitors, maybe noticing what your clothes feel like when you're moving, hearing or feeling your feet against the floor, maybe noticing your heart beating in your chest as you begin to feel familiar tension prior to competition or wherever else you feel it, whether it's your stomach, feel your head racing, just simply notice it. And as you sit down, notice what it feels like just to sit in the chair, letting your body sink against it and notice any textures that might come from that, whether it's warm, cool, if it's a gaming chair or if it's a pretty old one that I'm in. Maybe notice the color of the table you're at or what materials it's made out of. If your hands are on your keyboard right now, just notice what that feels like. And as we get closer to the start of this competition, again, I just want you to notice any of the nerves you might be experiencing. One way to help relax some of those nerves is by slow breathing, even if it's just for a minute or 3 to 5 breaths, just simply breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, making sure that your exhale is longer than the inhale. And just notice what some of that tension, what happens to that tension, where you feel your breath, whether it's your stomach, your chest, your nose. Keep doing this until you feel like you're adequately energized for this competition. And that's different for everyone. So I will let you all return when you're ready. And when you are ready, you can just simply open your eyes.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah. How was that for you all? You can either type your comments in the chat. I haven't looked at it. Or you can just hop on the mic and talk about this.
I'll just say I wish that I could get my students to calm down in this type of manner and to walk them through some of this stuff. It's getting them to slow down and to focus mentality, to like that focus mentality is such a struggle sometimes. I know there are other programs that do guided meditations or like pre-match breathing exercises. Um, in order to help try to combat some of the tilt that they're facing. So
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoy trying to have some additional strategies that people can implement as just working on things that we can do outside of the game, but helping them better focus mentally and preparing. So, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else?
And say Stephanie said that it's really helpful for her new players to just learn how to slow breathe. Um, and I know too in the server, a lot of the students were talking about their anxiety that they were feeling playing in front of an audience at the state championship. So um,
Hmm.
many of them have never experienced that additional layer of stress, I guess, or anxiety when it comes to competing. They're used to just playing in front of a screen, not in front of a 200 person auditorium. So it's a much different stage to play on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's part of the nature of esports, right? They do it to get away from their everyday life, and then you have them come into a giant arena with hundreds of, a lot of people watching you. That's a completely different animal. Um, so that's why I've always liked imagery as a way to not only overcome my performance anxiety when it came to competing. I'll be honest, I was not a gamer growing up, but I was an athlete and I was a student, and I found imagery, whether it was relaxation or just even thinking about motivation, like walking across the podium when I graduated, just to keep going when the mental grind of being a student got to be too much. That was always something that I really appreciated. And that's one of my goals of perseverance, is to push out more performance psychology for everyday students, because I think they're the ones that need it the most. It's not just a high performing athlete like the Bucks or the Packers or anything like that. It's for everyone. It should be available for everyone. So, and that's my whole hope with this.
Stephanie did ask if you have a sample script for esports that she could try out with her team.
Yeah, absolutely. I can send it to you, Mike, the one that I just presented.
Okay.
Um, Usually if I do one individually, I can record it and then just I usually send it out to an athlete. You could always do one through Discord. That's something that I've wanted to try, but I haven't been able necessarily to try it yet. Of just doing it through one of the voice channels and seeing what happens. That's kind of one of my little experiments that I'd like to try at one point. Um, Usually for athletes, you can either ask them, do you want to listen to this in my voice, a coach's voice, a friend's voice, or your voice? 9 times out of 10, they'll probably say they want somebody else's voice, but they might appreciate hearing themselves kind of walk through some of this mental preparation on their own too. So yeah, I can definitely send this one out to Mike and see if you guys are interested
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
in it.
I know we're kind of getting towards the end of our time here, so I did want to make sure that we had some time to open this up to Q&A if anybody has any pressing questions that I can hopefully answer for you, or at least tell you I don't know yet and I will find the answer for you. I'll just give you the nice long teacher pause. Treat you like my class. How do you want folks to let you know if they want? I will send out just an email and on the 20th, and I'll send it to everybody and just say, like, for Fortnite people, here's your code. Join me if you want to. We have to have a hard start. So I will send the code out at 4. I'll probably open the lobby at like 4:10, and then we gotta go at 4:15. Let's see here. Is there a limit? No, there is no limit. It's looking like the average is 1 to 3 squads. I believe Racine Case told me that they had 29 interested students. And so I said, nice, good luck. That's a lot. So there's always it's popular. It's really popular at some schools, and then other schools there's no interest. So it's always fascinating what's popular at one isn't popular at another. Um, I wanted to double check which nights Fortnite is. Fortnite is Wednesday and Thursday, and Rocket League Varsity is Tuesday, and JV is Thursday. So if you have a JV Rocket League, it may then interfere with Fortnite. So you may want to just focus on Wednesday night Fortnite.
Mike, can I add a quick thing about Overwatch? Can you
Yep.
hear me?
Yep. You're good to go.
Yes. So the number one question I've had for Overwatch, just for those who might be interested in signing up, because of the constraints of the license we have to very much run it like a club. So like AAU or club volleyball, if any of you are familiar. So the one thing that I want to make sure everybody understands, we can't follow the same constraints that we have with our seasonal sports. So grades, attendance, all that, it's pretty much out the window because you're gonna have teams that are gonna sign up with players from multiple schools, and there's really no way to track that or hold them to that, as well as the licensing really wants us to separate from school as much as possible.
Stephanie, this presentation is being streamed to Twitch and YouTube, so it can be accessed again in the future. So if you don't have any questions, you're free to go about your business, enjoy your evening, enjoy the darkness that is outside already. Yes, Susan, middle schoolers are allowed to play Fortnite. There is no difference between varsity and JV for this. They would still just pick whatever day and time that they want to compete, and that would be the pool that they compete in all season. And again, if any questions come up between now and Thursday, this will be the same agenda that we cover on Thursday. So just let me know if you have questions. You know, you all can email me. You can email me, you can DM me on Discord, you can tweet at me, whatever that you want. I will respond in some form. Dave, there's a question on Overwatch about swapping subs.
Yes. Actually, I just had a question about that as well today. You can, however, we're going to make sure that they are limited to within like a one rank off. So if you're replacing like a gold two, we want to make sure that they stay within that like plat two to silver two range, so that the SR isn't affected by too much for the team. Because once the ranking's in and they're kind of in that spot, we don't want to all of a sudden have a couple of silver players replaced with plat or diamond and then completely throw off the pool play.
No other questions? All right. If there's not, I'll shut it all down. Again, we will be available on Thursday as well. So thank you. Some of my classes still don't like to talk to me, so I'm getting really good at the teacher pause this week. So I'll see y'all later. Have a good night.